Good morning, people. Good morning, good morning. And I say good morning, it is 12 past 1 in the morning. So, as you can imagine, it's candid thinking hour. My name's Ivan, founder of Spieler.co.uk, and this is my series called From the Heart, where I just give it raw and real and talk about, no BS, included in it, the highs and lows of this journey in which we're trying to be entrepreneurs or whether we want to do our own things, got the career ladder, you name it. So, I'm back here today because I've had a very trying 2 weeks. So for the longest time, my company Spieler has been now in a funding round where we're looking for 250 grand, and we've spoken to numerous investors. Right, it's so easy when they say no to you earlier on, right? So when you get the initial funding, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, thanks, we're not interested. From the application stage. I think what gets a lot more disheartening is when you progress through stages, you talk to people, you're thinking, yeah, this is gonna go somewhere, this is it. Like, unfortunately, I made the rookie error of getting my hopes up. Right, usually my skeptic self took a back seat and actually had faith for once. Had initial conversations, thought everything was going well. I figured, yeah, I'll be chasing funding for so many years now. So many things on the back burner that I was worried about, like all my problems are going to be resolved. And then I got told, at the very last minute, we're going to pass on you. For good reason, of course, right? For good feedback, no feedback is bad. So any kind of feedback you get, constructive or not, you can take it and see ways in which you can improve upon what you're doing, right? But this normally, for the most part, it's harder to take this no in particular when I got passed on the opportunity, which is fine. But when you got a lot riding on you, so people are like, you're not paying people for this, right? You're currently just working on equity split, and you can kind of feel that pressure and tension yourself. And when you're, in this journey of working in entrepreneurialism and doing your own projects, you put a lot of undue pressure on yourself because again, you are your brand. So, however you feel or however you go about presenting your company and what you're doing, it's a reflection of yourself. And of course, you want to always put your best foot forward. And we can't help but attach ourselves to the things we love and what we do. So we feel like if it failed, we failed. So we make the mistake of attaching our kind of we validate ourselves towards it, right? We put our kind of name and our reputation on it, right? And so if it fails, then suddenly we fail. If it doesn't work out, then we cut out good enough for it. And that's the trap that I've, for the first time, I think I've fallen into, where I put my self-worth and value on my project and whether I got funded or not. So when I got passed up an opportunity, immediately I thought, I have to go back and tell the people I work with, hey, yeah, this wasn't successful. And we have to keep going and keep trying, and it just can't help but feel but getting more hollow, and it's getting harder and harder to do so. And that's mainly because you look at when people count on you, you just don't want to let them down, especially when you work with decent, hardworking people who also believe in what you're doing as well. But it's just the reality that no matter how much they are there for you, no matter how much people will ride for you, you feel a duty, you feel an obligation to them. And a part of that is making sure that they're sorted out, whether that be financially or whether that be on the next step or whether you're helping them progress, right? Because as leaders, you have to be servant leaders. That's the most important thing. Leaders don't lead from the front, they lead from the back. And so, again, just like a wolf pack, the strongest wolf is at the back of the pack. You have to be the strongest one. You have to be the shield. You have to carry the emotions. So, and in doing that, and when you become more desperate in trying to achieve something, you just take things a whole lot harder. So, once I was told that, we weren't going to get the funding, I was moping around for a couple of days. I was pissy, just in a bad mood, and that's just not me. And I knew that eventually, look, you're going to have to snap out of it because, you have to get back on the board. It's not over. One person isn't going to validate or dictate what your business or your future or your greatness lies, right? God's plan and everything. While I believe that firmly, sometimes it just gets hard. And I mean hard to just, keep pushing, and it gets hard to just keep telling yourself that you can do it. But you know what? You can. And the reason why you can is because it's so easy to just give up. It's so easy to quit. It's a lot easier to stop something than to keep going with it, right? And when you know that, things are hard and, it's looking harder to achieve something and the setbacks just keep coming, that's really the time you get tested. That's really entrepreneurialism at its finest. That's when you know whether you're built for it or not. And if you can honestly say to yourself that you're done, then you're done. That's what I've always believed. If there's even that 1 or 2% of you that 98% of you can say, yeah, I'm done. If you've got that 1 or 2%, that 1 or 2% always wins. Because guess what? I promise you, you've all have felt that way before, and you're still up here doing it. So clearly, you know, that 1 or 2%, which is so rare, it's small, it's rare, but it always wins. You know, it's small and mighty, that percentage. And that's what you've got to lead with, and that's what you've got to go with. So what I'm trying to say is, it's okay to have that 90% of where you want to stop and, you know, just give up, or you just want to, you know, don't want to prove the haters wrong. But it looks like you're on that way. But that 1 or 2% is what you lean on. That's what you ride on. That 1 or 2% is that fuel and that charge. And what I mean by that is, it's good to kind of have that feeling of fear or failure, not having the belief that, you know, this can work out. You can take bits out of that 98%. So that 98%, it could become 97, 96, 95, 94. And that amount of negativity, that amount of failure force, that then transfers over to the 1 and 2 and 3, if I'm making sense. So then as it goes from 93, 92, 91, 90, from the thinking of failure, using that as fuel, that failure fuel is being converting into the positive fuel to keep going. So it's always good to have that low belief that you can always keep strengthening. And so when it does get to, like, say 50%, and, you know, your negativity is at 50%, it's a balance. You're balancing each other out, so you can pick and prod between the two. So what I'm trying to say in all of that is making sure you have balance in high ways of thinking and in your low points. So what I mean by that, again, is it's okay to be skeptical, have that element of skepticalness about it, because funny enough, that stops you keeping your hopes up, and that prepares you for disappointment, because again, this journey is hard. This journey is very long. And again, apologies for rambling, but I think you guys know what I'm trying to say, or the message I'm trying to convey to you. And that, you know, when you do put your hopes into something, or you do feel disheartened, or you do feel like, you know, letting up, know that you've got enough in you. Always know you've got that 1 or 2%. Lean on that. Take that in. Use that. Even if it's a small glimmer of hope, just bounce on that. Rely on that. And that 1 or 2% could be anything. It could be the support of your family and friends. It could be a testimonial that you can read a couple of weeks ago. It could be, you know, a random customer just showing you love on you know, what you're doing. Just take those and really appreciate that, because again, that only further adds and fuels your passion. And again, I'm trying to do this without swearing, but when so and so hits the fan, that is what will drive you forward. That is that passion alone, that love you have for what you're doing, is what will keep you going forward, and that's what will push you to achieve the heights that you hadn't achieved before. And believe me, it's coming. And I've got to tell myself that, and I've got to keep proving that it's coming. And it is. But you know, when you're just so hungry, you just really want it to happen. You really, really want to push it. And it's like you're so close to it. You're just going for it. And it's just, you just feel like it's every time you get close to it, it keeps moving. The stick keeps moving. Well, it's going to keep doing that. But that's the journey, right? It's going to keep doing that until you finally grab it. And by the time you do grab it, you look back and see everything you've achieved, all the steps you had to take to where, you know, you are now. So keep going. That's what I want to tell the people. And for myself, I've got to keep going as well. You know, one person saying no to me is not gonna define who I am. It's not going to define who you are. One rejection, one pushback, one person telling you that, you know, it doesn't necessarily suit me. Doesn't mean it's not going to suit the hundreds and millions, billions of people on this earth who could, you know, really use what it is you want to bring to the world, who could really love and who could really find of use what it is you're doing. So keep shining. And through all your failures, make no excuses for them. But also when you succeed, don't apologize for your success. You deserve it. You know what you need to do. And don't let one setback like funding stop you, because in the day you've been able to get to where you get to without any funding, right? So funding will only further amplify what you're doing. But until then, we keep this rolling. That's a short from the heart about, you know, funding and the things I've learned, and just the power of keeping going. We're in this together. So yeah, thank you for checking out my short from the heart series. If you like it, please follow me on Instagram. It's IvezKay, IVEZKAY. My company, we are Spieler. And please do subscribe to the page. If it resonates with you, great. But if not, please share it to someone who it may. Thank you, and have a good morning. Well, good night, good morning. Oh, and shout out to Sam, my guy, he got me the ring light, like the spotlight. So I'm hoping the quality of my video is better.